tonight to celebrate young professional group establishment. Today we have significant speakers and also have 10 young professionals will share their experience together. So today we will be introduce our speakers. So the first one is Dr. Jessica Bian. So Jessica is the president elected of the IEEE Power and Energy Society, is the visionary leader and architects. She has electric power industrial experience and also great risk management experience. So currently she is vice president of Great Service at Great X Partner. So she has a lot of excellent work experience, include work in the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, and so on. So we will like Jessica to talk when she is ready. So before Jessica started, we will also introduce what's the schedule for today. So today, after Jessica's speech, we have two guest speakers for the open remark. This will be the Jian Wu. She is the executive director of the Global Green Development Alliance and also vice president of the Global Green Development Alliance, Dr. Georgie Zhou. So after then, we will have the question for our speakers, from our young professional group. So after we will change the other moderator. We will start panel session for the 10 young professionals. Okay, everybody is ready? So we have energy, right? Young professional, cheers. So we like Jessica to start her keynote speaker. Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. Yeah, when you sent me a WeChat about this particular event, I was so excited. I said yes immediately. Yeah, I feel the energy, so I'm so happy to be here. Happy Friday, everyone on the West Coast or everywhere in the States, and happy Saturday in China. So what I'm going to talk about is kind of a fun topic. It's very close to my heart. So I titled that is How You Find Your Seat. Okay, so before I start, let me share my screen, okay? Let's see if we can get this working. Let's see, can you see it now? Perfect, thank you. I see Lee is nodding. Okay, so find your seat. What I mean by seat is where you feel comfortable, either at workplace, family, or any community or event like this. And we all play different roles. It could be sister, brother, daughter, son, and father, mother. And so we could, I mean, how do you find your seats when you have in different environment, different settings? So I wanted to start kind of my career. And I know Dr. Zhang knows that I kind of hop along for my last 30 years. I started teaching and I joined manufacture and wrote lots of IEEE papers, all the academic papers, and I joined a utility company, did the planning and operation, where I became a supervisor or manager or lead. Well, there are a lot of repetitive. I mean, you can just imagine, right? If you stay at home, you cook, right? You do a lot of things. So it does not satisfy my intellectual curiosity. It's just repeating every day, but I learned a lot. So I would be very efficient. So I quickly became a lead on the technical side and on the people side as well. And after, well, you're all young, I don't know if you remember, we had a huge blackout event in 2003. So the standards organization is called NERC. They were looking for someone with the operations and planning experience, like more on the ground, like soldier type experience. And I had one, so I applied it, and they immediately hired me. And there I spent 6 years and learned how to build consensus. To me, that's a pivot point along my career, because I find out that that was who I am. Because I didn't know, I was just saying, okay, I want to try this and try that. Is this too boring? And let me try something new. So I started all that, but in that organization standards, I never felt the same every day. I always had new things and new people. So if you know the standards organization, IEEE does that as well. So we have all the technical experts, or sometimes the people managers as well. They come to join different committees. And at the time I had 10 committees. So I would be taking the notes, organize the meetings, just like this, right? We have Zoom meetings or conference calls and set up agenda, invite the speakers, but we have to, my performance review is that I have to pass certain standards each year. And the way I pass it is I have to get enough votes, 70%, 75% of votes. I have to get them to say yes. And then I would pass my year performance. My management would say, okay, yeah, you did your job for the year. So there, I learned a lot of, I had a great supervisor. I think that's another key. If you want to work in the organizations, it's not about the name, like a Google or any other like famous name. It's who you work with, and especially who is your supervisor, because you deal with that person every day for 8 hours. And if it doesn't work out, it's just frustrating. But in my case, and I find the best boss in that organization, also that I wrote many IEEE papers as well, because we collect all kinds of data, talk about data science. So I enjoy that part. And also I enjoy talking with the people, because we had about 2,000 member companies within NERC community, within the standards organization. So I talk to different people, always on a call. So I think, and I'm looking back now, I think my pivot point is where I see that my technical skill and my people skill all combined in that particular organization. So I had a great time. And then with family reasons, I had to move closer. So I joined the Federal Regulatory Commission. And there I kind of broadened my view, because at the Regulatory Commission of DC, they're just kind of the politician and lawyer type of organization. So I collaborated with many lawyers, economists, and politicians in that organization. So that hasn't changed me. It's I wouldn't say it's a pivot point, but I broadened my perspective. I know how lawyers work, especially in this country, how they have the pen and they can have a much bigger social impact. So if you all out there love to write, love to read, and like the pen, and please be a lawyer. It can create lots of big social impact, especially in this country. Along the way, I've been volunteer. When I was at the manufacturing teaching, so we all encouraged by a professor, Dr. John knows, right? Write a paper and get published. So I did all that along the way for 30 years. And like I said, after I joined NERC, and I was drafted to join 2012, the IEEE Society started a Women in Power group. So I got drafted and said, well, Jessica, you've done all that, and please share your experience. So I was the first 3 members within the Women in Power group. Now we have more than 1,600 members. So I was proud of that. And so you never know what's going to happen. So by 2015, so after 3 years, I joined Women in Power. I was on the technical side most of the time. So they now the country and I guess whole world start talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I got drafted again, said, well, Jessica, you've been with Women in Power and did great job. How about we put you on the ballot to run for the PS secretary? And because we normally don't have ladies on the ballot, right? We just have men, because our industry is very, I would say, gentleman-dominated industry. I said, sure, let's go ahead, because my competitor was very famous in our society. So I said, well, I would just try to help Women in Power Group be a candidate. And I probably won't win because the other competitor or candidate, he's very strong. But what it ended up, I won, and I was told that the whole community wanted to have a lady to represent the women's side of the career. So I started my PES more like on the governing board. Started in 2016. I finished 2 terms, 4 years as a PS secretary. And so in 2019, it's more like a tradition or our termed ended governing board members, and if they wanted to run for the PS president-elect, and so someone nominated me, and then we have nomination and appointments committee. They put me on the ballot with another gentleman. So, so with everyone's help, Dr. Zhang and all my friends and colleagues and fellow co-workers, and I was elected to be a president-elect in 2019. So I'm a president-elect for the last year and this year. I'll be president for next year and year after. So that was just kind of my pivot. You can see everywhere, but I enjoyed my ride. So I have no doubt if I want to try it again, I probably would do the same thing. But I probably would not take this many years to get where I want to be. So I would say it's not over. Someone said, oh, is it overnight you planted? No, I didn't plant it. It's a years in the making. And so when you were young, when I was your age, I would, yeah, I have the same, maybe I should, be a professor, right? At different universities, or research scientist at the national lab, or be all kinds of, be a politician. There's nothing wrong with any of these professions. These are just professions, and it doesn't mean that's who you are. So I think if I could tell you, if I would start over again, I would probably get to know myself better. So I would get into the profession, the workplace, or the community that I can work. I can feel comfortable much earlier than towards the later part of my career. So I would say I didn't know that there was a personality test or finding your strengths test. So I would say if I start over again, I would take that test immediately. And now if I take it, I'm more on the top 2, like analysts and diplomats. But we all have the traits for being a leader or being an entertainer, explorer. We all have all that, but it's just to feel, do you feel most comfortable? Do you feel that the things you do makes you happy and makes you smile? So try different things. I find out that these 2, I can get into these 2 and nonstop. Either is playing with the data, or I work with the people together and build a consensus. So if you do that, if, like I said, if I knew my test results, I probably would join NERC when I graduated from school. But I didn't know that. I took many turns and twists and get to the NERC. So this is the first thing I would say is take the personality test, find who you are and your personality. Personality is how you deal with the world, right? When you deal with the people, and what is your reaction? And when you deal with a certain project and type of environment, how you react, that's a personality. So these are the I mean, there's like, again, there's no good or bad strengths, and this is all just who we are. We're just different, and some of them I know many of your friends, they're just natural born leaders. I'm not that type, and I think I'm more natural born with a more like a a coordinator or mediator. So that's why I find out, that's why I love the work at Standards Organization. So you'll find that. But again, try that and see who you are. You can talk to your parents and see, because we got lots of genes from our parents. So you can see your traits from your parents as well. Another thing I find out is very vital. I quoted what Aaron Beverly said. When you go out the world, once you find your strengths, okay, you just tell if you are good on the analytic side, and just say, hey, I can help you. I can be your treasurer, right? If you have an event, a conference, or I could, hey, look at the spreadsheet, I could do some analysis. And if you're good leader, say, hey, I could be your conference. It's like exactly what you're doing. But tell people that the value you can bring, tell people your talents. So when you communicate and set up networking, especially, you're saying it's not that how I can get help, is what value you bring to the people, especially when I was young, I don't have a big title, and how people will remember me is I would say, okay, this is who I am. I can help you if you need extra hands. Hey, here, let me know. And next time they have bigger, better project, they say, oh, Jessica did this. She's good. Bring him along again. So that's how it works out, and especially in this culture. Of course, if you go to China or if it's different places, and things could work out differently. But if you're here, and this is how it's going to work out. All right. So I'm going to skip that, and I mentioned that share your value and just tell them your talent, and you said I can help. And that's what the communication is about, especially, like I said, if you are very young and without a big title, and all that. And I also, another thing is I'm an engineer by training, so I wanted to know why people volunteer, right? I mean, like Dr. John, why, and like you guys, why you volunteer? Because that's one of our human needs fundamentally. So it makes us happy and healthy. So so here's a chart, you probably have seen that from school. So Dr. Maslow, he summarized our human needs, right? I mean, fundamentally, we're social beings. And he said, he summarized about 60 years ago, he said, helping others is the highest level of human needs. So it's right there. So we started with the food, shelter, right? Air, every day. We need that. This is our basic needs. Then we need the protection, right? We need the security. We need no fear to live. We need to have a law and order so we can go to work and raise family and all that. So those are the basic needs. And then after that is the connection, and that's what we're doing, right? That's what you guys are doing. We have 10 young professionals, and this is you're getting connected and you're helping this wonderful organization. This is where you can build a long time close relationship. After that, we also have a needs to achievement, status, responsibility. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just part of our human needs. And after that, it's like me, okay, who I am, why I'm here, why I just came all the way, right? And 30 years ago came to this place and did all this pivot. So you would ask those questions. And then, of course, we have a work-life balance and beauty and personal growth. Eventually, we get to this point, helping others. So you can see a lot of religions and all that is kind of, we all do that every day, even though I'm not literally helping others, but you would, if you don't join the NGOs, and you're still helping. So this is all these, if we can do a little bit things every day like this will make us happy and healthier. Again, this is our human needs. Fundamentally, we're social beings, and all of these things will keep us alive and happy. So that's why people volunteer. So we see volunteers everywhere. So I probably some of you know that I'm part of the Power Energy Society. We have 40,000 members worldwide. That's the community I'm in. And we also have 20 technical committees. We talk about publishing and present the latest technical discovery or the the new things. And this is where we also have a young professional women empower. I mentioned that life member groups. This is where we have the social events like this. And if you want to say be a volunteer, we have lots of young professionals join the publication, meetings, chapters, all these activities. And the reason that we be part of these type of community is that no other workplace, no single place could offer these many options. So you could try out. To me, the PES, especially for the young professional, is like a playground. It's protected, safe environment for you to try different things on the technical side, on the leadership side, public speaking, if you want to be an author and teaching, and there are so many tools out there. So that's why there are so many, like I said, 40,000 members part of this community. And no single, I worked all these places, no single organization. We're usually working a department, right? There are like 10 or 15 colleagues, and that's it. You're kind of stuck in that environment. But these organizations offer you so many choices and freedom, so you can try your talent and find who you are. Okay, so now I just want to summarize how you find your seat. And now you, after your testing, you know your talents, right? You can tap and find and reach your full potential. And I didn't know that I could build a consensus when I started my career. So how do I find out? And I got curious. I talked to the people, I move around, I prototyping, I try stuff, I try different organizations. So and I find out, yeah, that is true, because I did my test later on. I find out who I am. I can explain why I move around. Now it all makes sense, right? Before it's why, I mean, a lot of people, why you move, I mean, companies every 5 years. Now I can explain, here's why, because that's just my stuff, it's just me. So through all these, get curious, talk to people, and try different stuff within the NGO, then you can find out, you can sharpen your skill, you can find out the things you like to do, what makes you smile more every day, and to be the best version of yourself. You heard that term probably many times. How do you find who you are and be best version of yourself? And this is just slides shows that our each individual's capability is very limited. You can see our industry, right? You know, the power industry has been with us for 130 years, but it's not just Thomas Edison, it's all of us, including you and me, including starting Thomas Edison, Samuel Insull, together, connected, we built this industry. Again, once you find out who you are, then you go out, reach out to your friends and build a long-term relationship and do something together. So I very appreciate Dr. Zhang put this together, and 10 people, you'll grow to hundreds, thousands, and you can do a lot of great things together. And all, sometimes we don't understand the political environment and all that. And it's pretty simple. Just read the history, you understand why we became who we are, why industry is the way today, and why we want to move to a new green, clean energy, all that, the wonderful, because we had a very dirty history as far as the environment and all that. So I don't get upset easily because I understand where we came from. So reading history and get to know all these science and technology, it's not just our industry, every industry that went through the evolution for many, many years. Through first, like for our industry, we started science and technology, Thomas Edison, then the business strategy, Samuel Insull, had a flat rate, then we had a culture, and we had an event in Texas in February. And people ask why Texas is not connected with the rest of the world. That's their culture. They wanted to be alone. They want to govern themselves. So that plays a part. And the politics, of course, and regulatory law and courts. So all these are plays. So if you want to be a lawyer, great, and go for it. If you think you're an analyst, be an engineer, right? If you are people like, love to work with the people and be a moderator, be a consensus builder, and join the organizations like the standards, the other NGOs, and there you can get your full potential. You'll be so much happier than to be someone else. Okay, so a little bit about PES. Yeah, we have more than 40,000 members across the globe, and lots of chapters, and so that's how we get connected. We also have more than 6,200 young professionals, all like you, the graduate students plus the graduates with less than 15 years of experience. We all call them young professionals. So they meet on a regular basis. We celebrate and get to know each other and build lifelong relationship. And lastly, I want to say, if you want to change, if you don't like what we have here, the environment, the workplace, we have to be the change agent on our own. And I love what Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. If I think that, yeah, I'm not going to do anything, right, the environment will become cleaner and better, friendlier, there's no way. We have to be part of that. We have to be the change. And so you feel that you're doing, you accomplish something, but not alone. You have the community, you have the friends, and be with you. And that will make you, and another thing is I find out we do a lot of things like in 5 or 10 years, but after that, we just feel tired and feel that life is not so exciting. But if you have the friends around with you, if you have the community be your support network, and you'll feel much better. So your career, your life journey will be much longer and healthy and happy. Okay, there's one book I'd like you all to read. It's called All We Can Save. And I think it ties to what this organization does. So if you haven't read it, I recommend, it's a 60 women wrote about the environment, how we can change our paradigm, rethink the environment. That's what they call All We Can Save. So it's very interesting and very intriguing. So I highly recommend your book. I like what they summarize. The problem with the environment, the climate crisis, this book defines as a leadership crisis. And I fully agree with that. So yeah, it's a wonderful book. So get connected and you can find your seat. All right, that's what I want to share with every one of you. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah. So Jessica, excellent speech. Actually, we just recall our relationship. Long time ago, that was in Beijing, China, at graduate school, right? We know 1980s. So that now is more than 30 years. So that now we still connected. Why? So we have some common interest in, and also we doing the nonprofit organization. This make our connected. I remember, she is in the East Coast, I'm in the California West Coast. We not see each other often. However, in the IEEE conference, we meet together, and at that time she win the Women in Power Award. This was excellent sample for our young professional. So additionally, in this year, pandemic, from last year, right, we start Global Green Development Alliance, and we start a webinar, Healthy World and Green Development. Today is the number 56. So how last year in May, I remember we invited Jessica for the earlier webinar. She talked with the Professor Daniel Kahneman in UC Berkeley. That webinar is how can we fight coronavirus? How can make everybody safe, and how can doing our best in this special season? After 1 year, since coronavirus under control, we will try more open, and people will more together. So today, we will continue our webinar today and invite our board member, Jian Wu. She is executive director in the Global Green Development Alliance. So welcome, Jian, give a speech.
Thank you, Xiaofeng. Thank you, Dr. Dian. I was fully motivated to join your team, and I'm highly inspired by Dr. Dian's speech. Thank you very much for sharing with us. It's very helpful. Today is a good day, excellent day. It's one of the brightest days in my life because we have a new team. Today is a day for our young generation, and we have a new troop forming up to march with us in this battle to fighting the climate change. I remember that when I was at your age, Xiaofeng, I don't know if not you remember that. At that time, there's a greatest Chinese composer whose name is Gu Jianfen, has a song coming up called 80年代的新一辈啊，有你有我啊，我们是80年代的新一辈啊。Now today, okay, we have a new generation coming up. We said it's a generation of 2010. So what we did in all these 30 years, actually all we did is did one thing, is we cast a stone, which means 我们抛了一块砖，今天迎来了一块最美的美玉。I'm so happy because our generation will achieve a lot more than us. So thank God. Get ready, get up, and march with us. Remember, you are an achiever. You are an achiever, and we will walk all together all the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Excellent speech, inspiring ourselves and also our young professional. So we also invite Dr. George Zhou. He is the Vice President of the Global Green Development Alliance. So welcome, George. Give the open remark.
Thank you, Xiaofeng. Thank you, Dr. Dian and Jian Wu. Very good speech and very encouraging. And even for me, I'm no longer young, but and when Jian mentioned that 我们是80年代的新一代, that's the most familiar song I have ever sung. Yeah, and I heard Dr. Dian's speech, and actually I have a lot of common sense with that, because I'm in the same profession, and Dr. Dian and Xiaofeng, we are all power professionals, power engineering professionals, and this profession is highly related to climate change, because we are doing something that right now everybody knowing called green energy, right? So green energy is one of the best or most efficient tools to fight climate change, right? So I think all the young professionals right now is the right time, and also at the right moment for this right organization, because our organization, Global Green Development Alliance, we have 3 focuses here. So one is the green energy, and the other is fighting climate change, and then third one is public health. Okay, so because I'm from power engineer professional, so I want to talk a little bit on climate change with renewable energy, and on this important day, because today is the official establishment of our young professional department of Global Green Development Alliance. So I'm very happy to be part of this ceremony. And we know that global warming, global climate change, it's actually affecting everybody. Okay, no matter where you live, no matter what country you come from, right? China, US, some European countries, whether rich country or poor, right? So it's affecting everybody, and everybody, I believe you will have probably different kind of feelings, right? From my experience, because I have been in California for like over 20 years. So today's world and today's environment is totally different from 20 years ago when I first came to California. And just one small example. I have been here. I'm living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm actually a good skier. I like to ski. So every year in the past, okay, I went to Lake Tahoe. They have very good ski results. I've been there for many times, and especially when I'm relatively younger with my kids, right? And we enjoy it very much. But in the last couple of years, especially in the most maybe 5 years, okay, and it's hard to see any good snow day, okay, and more drought and more wildfires, all the natural disasters coming to our life, right? For example, in California, in 2020, we had actually the worst wildfire in California history. Okay, about 4% of the land actually burned, okay, by the wildfire. Okay, so this is becoming an issue every day. Okay, and another example of climate change, everybody probably already read somewhere. Okay, in February this year, we had the worst winter storm in Texas, okay, causing a lot of outages, okay, impacting millions of people, okay, actually causing about 10 million people from US and also Mexico, okay, without power for so many days, okay, without clean water, okay. So it's a very worst event, okay. So like these kind of things, we have to think about. We have to find some ways to improve, to solve this problem. And this kind of problem is a worldwide problem. It's not a one country, a rich country or poor country. Okay, it's a worldwide problem. Every country has a burden to do something. Okay, and this issue actually is impacting not only one generation, many generations. Okay, I think for the young professionals, I think that this is a very critical issue. Actually, I read somewhere in PU Research Center, they just published a research report in May time from this year, and they just did a survey among different age of people. Okay, from the baby boomers to millennials to Generation Z, right? That's a younger generation. And one of the findings that it looks very interesting that the Generation Z and the millennials, they are the most actually sensitive to the climate change topic. Okay, and they asked in the past year, okay, have you talked to or done something related to climate change? About 60% or 70% of these young people said, okay, yeah, they have done something. And relatively for the baby boomers, probably less than 50%. So I think right now the young generation is kind of have more concern about the surrounding environment. Okay, so I think you are the hope of the future, and a lot of things that as an older professional, I'm happy to see so many young professionals are interested in this kind of effort. Whether you are from energy field or from public health, right? All related to this environment thing, right? All these things will impact our health, our life, right? So I think this is a very, very meaningful, and I hope all the young professionals here, and whether you study in one major, the other major, whether this university, that university, or whether you just started your career, I wish you the best, and also I hope you will play a bigger and bigger role in this new establishment of a young professional department of global green development. So I hope everybody in the young professional group success. Thank you much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhou. Excellent open remark. So today is a special day, 2021, July 16. Today is the establishment of the Young Professional at Global Green Development Alliance. So what's the Green Development Alliance? So if you go our website, or if you study a little bit, so we can know we have a mission. We have a non-profit. We are the non-profit organization in the California, San Francisco Bay Area. Our mission is promote exchange of the knowledge, idea, experience in the clean energy, healthcare, high impact collaboration initiatives, and the green sustainable development project. So if we summarize, we have 3 major tasks. One is organizing multinational green energy, healthcare, and related summit, seminars, and workshop webinars. Second is engage project related green sustainable development in clean energy and healthcare, include global climate change, smart village, smart city, and so on, and also training the young professional. So in April, we established the youth group. So today we go to higher level is young professional. So young professional is our future of the world. Our third mission is education and cultural revolution, cultural exchange and leadership. So we will go to our panel discussion, like our young professional give our panelists give the questions. So I want to share, okay, this one is not. Okay, today we have 10 young professionals. Okay, so we will welcome them, ask questions for Dr. Bian, Jian Wu, and George Zhou. So I just quickly go through our young professionals. So first is Dr. Li Guan. She is a postdoctor in the Stanford University, and she is a chair of the young professional. Second one is Dr. Xiaoli Pin. So she is work City of Hope. So additionally, we have Yifei Liu. She is the graduate student at Wisconsin Medicine, and also have a young student at UC Berkeley, Archie Zhang, and also Edward Chen, Stanford University. Additionally, we have Lei Lei Dai is University in Minnesota, and Wan Chen Liu, he is in Beijing, 协和医学院, okay. And also we have Wei Jun Chai, North China, technology and engineering university, and also have Dr. Xin Dong Wang. He just got PhD from Tsinghua University and now work in the Zhejiang province. And also have a young student in the Bath University in England, Junlong Li. Okay, so right now we will get our panel discussion.
Okay, I have a quick question. Thanks for President Zhang's excellent opening remark and Dr. Bian's presentation and Dr. Zhou and Jian Wu's speech. I have a question. What are the challenges of achieving sustainable development goal? This is my quick question. Dr. Bian and Jen Wu, would you like answer this question and share your ideas with us? Thank you.
Jane, you can start. Go ahead.
My question is, what are the challenges of achieving sustainable development goal?
Okay, look at today's today's world. There's a big conflict between nations, right? The reason is very obvious. Every nation wants to develop their economics.
Yeah.
So in order to develop their economics, they will use more energy, right? In order to make more energy, of course, you're gonna harm the environment and also have high emissions, right? So, but in order for us to advocate the sustainability and development, actually you have intrinsic conflict with the people's goal, and especially between nations. So nations has been fight each other for the energies and fight each other to try to protect their economic growth for their own nation. So I really hope that someone who can come out some idea to break through this intrinsic conflict cycles, okay? Which means we have to develop a new model, an economy model and a social model to help the global industry to pay more interest in sustainability and develop more technology for us to achieve the goal.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
Right. I just want to tag on what Jane said. I totally agree. Like you said earlier, the climate crisis is a leadership crisis. And we need someone, well, we're hoping someone, some country, but actually we are the leader. You are the leader. And if you want to change what you see, and we have to be the change agent. And it has to be connected because we all contributed to what we've seen today, right? Especially our generation. And there are a lot of things that we didn't realize. We did, I wouldn't say the bad things. It's just type of, like Jane said, it's economic, we're capitalists, right? We try to produce, and have more capital. That's what the system is. So fundamentally, how do we change that? And we need a leadership to do it. So it could be an entirely different model than what we have seen for last 150 years. Everyone contributed to the consumption. So that, like I said, we could think about different models, and those are the challenges we have. We kind of carry this inertia since we were born. We've seen, right? We consume and we built, and that's exactly what happened to the planet, to where what we live, to where what we do. So in order to change that particular model, we have to think hard and deep, be the change agent on our own, get connected and be a leader in this, I would say, in this kind of adventure, in this life-giving future. So we have to work and think, and is this where we want to go, and create transformational change. If we carry what we have and go into next 50 years, and you know what you will see. So we have to change the thinking, the paradigm, and to see. And again, so be a leader, and you can make a change. You can make a much bigger impact. Again, the climate crisis is a leadership crisis.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Question. So wonderful talk, Dr. Bian, and thanks for introduction, President Zhang. So my question is to President Zhang and Vice President Zhou. So right now there's a lot of young people join our group, and I think in the future more and more people will join too. So I was wondering, what's your vision on the future roles of GDO young professionals? So what do you expect from them? And I would like to know your opinion about this.
Yeah, thank you, Li Guan. Excellent question. So as a non-profit organization, we have a goal for the sustainable green development future and the health world and so on. How can reach our goal? I think a young professional is the future of the world. So we organize together. Today have 10 people, maybe has more volunteers surrounding. How can we grow? So like Dr. Bian said, first, you need to find your strengths. Each individual has a different characters, different strengths. For the leadership development, so you need to finding yourself. What's your passion? What's your strength? So if you use your strengths to doing the work, will be easier. So each one has a different characters. So we can try use different person, use the right rule, that will be perfectly. So I think as the young professional leader, so we organize the people together, each one from the different school, different background, different regions. So how can as the leader to organize them and make you carried everyone, you bring everyone to develop best of themselves and also develop your leadership. So this is the future. I hope we can step by step, day and day grows. So young people will grow very fast. So like Dr. Bian said, when she did the woman group in the IEEE, in the earlier, only a few hundred people, right now has a lot. So I hope, under your leadership, so our young professional group will grow fast and has a bright future.
Thank you. We will try our best. And also, I think it's a great suggestion. Vice President.
I agree with President Zhang's talking. I agree with President Zhang's talking point. Actually, this platform is great. I think it's a great platform for young professionals to practice their ideas and their beliefs and leadership, and carry on from the early days and until their whole life or career. So I think this is the purpose of our non-profit organization. Okay, so we want to have a strong young professional team, and then actually will grow from here. And so they have the leadership, and also they will have a teamwork. Okay, they practice their team, because nowadays nobody can do something just by yourself. Okay, so everything, and whether it's school or lab or your other companies, private or public or government, nobody can do something by her or himself, right? So everybody, if we want to achieve something, we have to be in a team. Okay, so first we have a team here. Okay, it's a very good platform. The second, okay, we have in order to do something, we have to have a leader. Okay, so great leadership is the key. Okay, for example, any public company or private company, if you look at this successful company like Amazon or Google, okay, or Microsoft, okay, so you look at this successful company, okay, So every successful company has a great leader. Okay, so this is a platform that we want to build for great leaders to be born here. Okay, so that's our main goal, and we hope at least we'll get something. And I'm glad Li Guan right now is taking the leadership, and already we have like more than 10 young professionals, and right now actually the team is growing. I already have seen a lot of people are expressing their interest. So I'm very happy to see this. So thank you, Li Guan, for this.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer. I think the team will be stronger in the future.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Jessica, you want to say a few words?
Oh, sure. There's a great bonus along the way, along what you said and what Dr. Joe said. I also like to share with you along the way, I have made many friends. So many friends, they can hear what I'm thinking. If this is the kind of the joy, it's a deep experience, okay? What I'm just saying, and they can hear what I'm thinking. I don't even have to say it. So along the way, you'll pick up lots of good friends. Like I said, we bonded together, and my friends can anticipate my thoughts. I don't even have to say it. They know exactly what I'm thinking as we roll along the way together. What we're doing, party, discussion, and good events or talk like this, or just work on some of the projects. We share a lot of the common things, and along the way, and you can get to that deep human connection experience, and it will bring you the joy, and you'll feel one other's minds and hearts, and how perfectly we can work in concert. It's a deep human experience, and that's what we need, and that keeps you young and happy.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Bian.
Sure.
Thank you for all the speakers today. I have a question to Vice President George Zhou and Dr. Jessica Bian. There are various energy sources nowadays. So in your opinion, what will be the main energy source in the future? Thank you.
Go ahead, Dr. Zhou.
You first.
Oh yeah, well, I could say it's the possibility is endless, it's infinite. I have seen the design, like the kite, right? When the kids, they play kite on the playground. I've seen kites, they design the kites to use to generate the power electricity. And that's how cool could that be? I mean, you can use that technology. I've seen the water to generate electricity of those a lot of manufacturers from Israel and from Japan. So there are just tons of things out there. It's just the cost. Right now, the cost is high. That's why we haven't seen a lot of applications. But the technology is there. So as if you're an engineer, and I would say, remember 3 words: cost, cost, cost. And if you talk to regulator, lawyers, economists, and say, well, why we cannot use, right? The reason I actually hopped around is that I find I've had a few patents, I wrote a lot of papers, I was frustrated why my latest invention, nobody cares, right? Nobody wants to use it. And so we went to utility companies, tried to sell our technology. That was kind of stonewall. We had some demo projects, and eventually we went to the lawyer side, regulatory side. There's no the cost benefit analysis, and the consumer have to pay more if they use my invention. So I was speechless. I said, yeah, you're right. I can't, right? We can't raise, and here in the States, if your governor raise your electricity rates, and his term probably won't be that long. So it's this, I mean, potential conflict, the interest cycle. That's part of our political system. That's why in my slide, I'm saying all these are driving forces to become who we are. And that transitioned the way we consume, the way we use our energy. It's all about cheap, produce more, and make more money and be the king or the queen of the world. It's all that culture drive us. And so if we want to change, we need to have to think fundamentally, how do we make the world different? And it's all, I mean, I'm just too old to change my mind, but that's how, I understood the logic, right? You can see, here's why, here's what's driven people every day go to work and all that. That's what our system is about. That's how we designed our system. But it's not that happened in like one day overnight. It came along, this country kind of broke away from British culture. And so they love the freedom, right? They love being a unique individual. Those are good. And so that creates a lot of social disparity and differences. And so how do we resolve that? How do we reduce the gap of the equity? And those are part of the bigger discussion. So I hope that you as young leaders will take us to the next future world and make the planet better, friendly, and also change the way that I think, and change a lot of people, our generation and some of the older generation, how they think. And it carries like inertia. It takes, I mean, study says it takes 3 generations to change it. So you think, why you have the shorter haircuts? Why have to keep the longer hair? It all years and years history. It's very hard to change. There's nothing wrong. I keep my short hair or you keep the long hair, right? It's like you've seen the movies, Hollywood cultures, you've seen the king, right, rule the whole world. And how, I mean, if you look at the gender gap, there's a huge gap. It's going to take more than 200 years to get equal pay for ladies around the world. For the United States, it's going to take about 100 years. For the folks outside of the United States, especially in Africa, it's probably take more than 300 years. On average, it's going to take 250 years just to get equal pay for ladies. 250 years, just think about that. It takes long time to change the culture. And that's what we're facing. But that's what the history, I mean, history made who we are today. So don't get upset. That's just the world we live, and there's a lot of things you could do to make a change, but it will be a long journey. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I agree with Dr. Bian, and you know, in terms of what kind of main source of energy in the future, for me, I have no answer. It's hard to predict the future, but I do agree with Dr. Bian, and cost is one of the most important factors here. So, you know, no matter what kind of technology, and if the cost is a big issue and it's hard to get commercialized, right? So cost is a big factor. And if you look at all these different type of technology in the energy industry, wind and now a lot of battery energy storage systems. And you know, why solar energy is getting popular because the cost, right? Cost is decreasing a lot. It's continuing to decrease, right? And so as long as the cost is decreasing and the technology is competitive, and then you know, the share of that kind of technology will be bigger and bigger. And so, you know, in terms of the future, I don't know, maybe, you know, solar, or maybe some other kind of energy, you know, who knows? Because a lot of uncertainty, a lot of new technology, maybe will be born. Maybe, you know, you guys will invent something, right? So who knows? Like last year's the pandemic, you know, anybody, you know, even didn't think about this, you know. Last pandemic, that was like you know, almost 100, yeah, 2020 something, right? So actually through this pandemic, you know, everything, you know, a lot of things changed. Even now, you know, without this pandemic, we wouldn't have this kind of meeting or webinar, right? So actually, even the pandemic is over, after the pandemic is over, not everything will go to the stage before, right? Even the way of work, right? So some companies are doing like, okay, I want to have all the employees going back to the work every day like before, and now nobody, a lot of people actually don't agree, right? Because this is one thing, and it changed a lot of things. Our sense of the world, our attitude toward our environment, toward the people. So a lot have changed. So I don't know, what will be the main source of the energy, but I'm hopeful, will be good for us. Will be cheaper and better, and will be renewable. So yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you, thank you. That's very inspiring and helpful.
Actually, talk about renewable. I just want to comment one thing to Dr. Bien. Actually, for the renewable energy, it's still a very young industry. And in this young industry, Dr. Bien, you are young, and we are all young.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, people are living to like 80s, 90s, even 100, right? So yeah, relatively we are still young, but we are old compared with right now these people, young people, right? Yeah, agree.
Well, I guess if nobody is asking questions, then I may jump in with a question. I guess this is a question for all of the panelists, because I mean, thank you for all of the key speeches, and especially just Dr. Jessica Bien. I think the speech is very inspiring, and I think this question is kind of tied into the speech as well. So my question is basically, what are some key qualities of a young professional today that you would most value in today's career environment? Or I guess is, what qualities would make a young people, stand out among today's, career environment?
Who wants to start first? To all panelists.
I think that's a very good question. I just want to deliver a message regarding to this question, and everybody can answer. This is a very good message, because for the sustainability, the good message is everyone who work in this field, who is entering this field, can harvest with a huge market. Okay, the market is there and the capital is there. It's not easy. Actually, when we graduate in 80s, and when we get we graduate from undergraduate from 80s, and then we come to US, right? At that time, we are constantly looking for a good career for us to get into, right? In China, everybody was talking about the trillion RMB market, so-called 万亿市场, right? But it's not easy for us to find. We're talking about 3C market. We're talking about IT market. We're talking about .com market back in 2000, right? But none of them, okay, is a $1 trillion market. Now, I think I've seen conduct a study that from now to 2030, just in this short 10 years, the capital markets will invest about $30 trillion to this sustainability development. I've never seen this in my whole life. If the market is there, if the capital is ready to make this such a, we call it impact investment, I think the opportunity for the young generation is endless. So other panelists, please comment.
Yeah, excellent point, Jen. So
for the current year, even pandemic, impact our life and so on. However, vaccine is make the life differently. Additionally, I think globally, all the governments, invest more money in the green energy, health world, and so on. So this is really good opportunity if you consider some year recession. So, stock market crash, that is really worst year. So right now, if you look at the, index in the stock market, all is growth. So this proof is good year. So good opportunity for all the people, for the young people, you study, either you work, and so on. If the opportunity is here, you just try how can catch it. If it's other year, recession and so on, you are more difficulty to doing all the things. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, I think, I agree. This is a great time for renewable energy industry, and for young people, it's a good market now. And Edward actually was asking about what kind of qualities from this young professional you are looking for. So if I were doing something with the young people, I will look at for the young professional, I'll look at the can-do attitude, and also taking some risk, because nowadays, you have to challenge the status quo. Okay, a lot of things you have to think out of the box. Okay, so sometimes actually the success is born out of almost impossible. If you look at that, first idea, maybe it's not possible, but if you can try it, someday you will fail, but someday you'll be successful. So I think that's one of the things that, if I'm working with a young professional, I will look at that kind of can-do attitude. Okay, we take risk. Okay, we'll get reward. Don't fear about the failure. So that's there are of course there are a lot of qualities that people are looking at, but that's the thing that I think one of the things that I will look at.
Yeah, great. I just want to add, there are lots of qualities. They all could be bad or good along your life and career. So there's no, whatever quality you have, I think you can use it towards the growth and towards happiness. And the one thing, my personal favorite is empathy. That's a quality that I always value, and I like what Dr. Brene Brown summarized, and she is the professor at the University of Houston, research scientist. She studies connection. So here's her definition. She says, connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So to me, that's empathy. When I talk to people, right? When I talk to people and I see them, I feel them, I value them without any judgment. That's what I call empathy. I think from their point of view, I think that would help us grow, because I understand their perspective. I don't get upset. It's like the environment. I don't get that upset easily. So I'll be happier and healthier. I can have a good connection, good relationship. I can build the team. That's what it counts. We said earlier, each individual, our ability is very limited. We only have 2 hands, 1 brain, 24 hours. There's very limited things we could do in order to make a big change like climate and other things, fundamental, the way we live. We have to have the team. And this is what this event is about, right? We have a team to work on that. So in order to build a good team, a solid team, a strong team, that we have to have this quality, which is empathy, to feel what your your team members saying and see them and value them, and without judgment. And so when they connect with you, when they have interaction with you, they get strength from that connection. I think that will take you far and further and higher in your career or in your personal life.
I agree. Thank you for everyone's input.
Hi, everybody. I'm Xindong. I have a question I want to ask. In the themes of clean energy, climate change, and public health, what areas should young professionals be aware of?
Thank you, Xindong, for the good question. So for the young professional, actually, we say you have a lot of time. Consider, my father-in-law is 101 years old. So if you 20 something, you have 70 years. So you need to do things, follow your heart. So you don't need to worry about mistake. So if you feel this way is you like, you love, you need to follow, and not too practical, or this one make more money and so on. I think money is the second issue, right? So most when the area you want to follow, you just try doing your best and continue, not if have some difficulties and so on, you just, if you continue, will be successful. This is all the story. Some if you quit earlier, so after then you say, oh, why I'm quit this one when the difficulty time? Okay, so this is my one sentence. Yeah.
Yeah, for here, I want to echo what Dr. Bian said earlier. A keyword called prototyping. Because you're young, okay, you have a luxury of prototyping your interests, prototyping your career. When I was young, okay, I probably at your age, I look at some professors, okay, look at some well-developed people. I really envy them. I think, hey, look, they have wealth, they have money, right? They have a wealth, they have a fame, and they have seats, and they have positions. They have everything. They have a happy family. And I was still single at that time, right? So I don't have anything. And at that time, my professor told me, said, Jane, when you have something we all don't have. This something is priceless. It's called a youth. When you have youth, you have all the possibilities. You have all the flexibilities, and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah, that's why nowadays every business related to youth make you look young, you'll make money. Right?
Yeah, so all the young people has a bright future. Okay, for the time limitation, we will move to the second part of today's webinar. So we will invite Dr. George Zhou and Edward Chen be the moderator for our second part for the young professional discussion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, President Zhang. Now is our session for the young professionals, okay? Now let's have the stage for these young professionals. I will introduce 5 people, and we have 10 people altogether, and then Li Guan will, Edward Chen will introduce the other 5 young professionals. So the first young professional I would like to introduce is Li Guan. She is the head of our newly founded young professional department. She is a postdoc researcher from Stanford University. Now, Li Guan, introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction, Dr. Zhou. So my name is Li Guan. So right now I'm postdoc working at Stanford University. I felt like it's my honor to join this group and work with everyone. So right now I'm the chair of young professionals. As a volunteer of this group, I try to bring people together and make contribution to the society. So for me, I received my PhD degree in cell biology from Xiamen University. Then now as postdoc at Stanford, I focus on studying tumor cell biology and stem cell biology. So because my research field is kind about biology, because when we're speaking of a healthier world, sustainable development, most people will think that related with energy field. Yes, it is. But today I would like to combine my research field and talk about the role of biology in sustainable development, and also going to talk about, as one of young professionals, what I can do to make a contribution to the society. I would like to give you a few examples to know better why I think biology and biotechnology play so important role in building sustainable development world. So the first example is Dr. Yuan Longping and his hybrid rice. Speaking of Dr. Yuan Longping, I think everyone here knows about him. He's the father of hybrid rice. He spent the majority of his time in achieving higher yield hybrid rice. Right now, hybrid rice has been growing in dozens of countries in Africa, America, and Asia. So it boasts the food security and provide a robust food source in areas with high risk of hunger. So the second example I would give to you is about Dr. Tu Youyou. As we all know, Dr. Tu is the first Chinese Nobel Prize winner in physiology and medicine because she managed to extract the compound, I think Chinese name is Qinghao, that has served millions of lives for diagnosis with malaria. So from those two examples, what I try to say is biology is more and more important in building the healthy world and in achieving sustainable development. So for me, as one of young professionals, I feel like it's my pleasure to continue to do biology research because I think in the future, I believe people will benefit from what we are doing now. Also, in addition to doing research in biology, I also enjoyed doing volunteer work. Last year, all the world suffered from COVID. Also in Bay Area, I know that a lot of elderly people, they cannot go to grocery because it's kind of harder for them. And so together with my friends, I joined the Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. So we try to manage to deliver the food to elderly people and try to help. So I feel so great. Just like as Dr. Jessica Bien's speech, it's a human needs. Volunteer work is human needs. I think it's my needs. So all I try to say is, as young professionals, we work together to build the healthy world that is a very important part to achieve a sustainable development goal. So I'm very happy to join JLOGDA to work with everyone here. So thank you everyone. Dr. Zhou, I think you muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Li Guan. Yeah, that's actually opened my mind about this biology. I know this is very important. Yeah, and the next young professional is Xiaoli Ping. I believe she's also in the biotechnology industry, and she's a researcher in the City of Hope. And Dr. Ping. Dr. Ping.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Xiaoli Ping, and I graduated from Chinese Academy of Sciences and I'm majoring in biochemistry and molecular biology. And now I work as a staff scientist in City of Hope, which is a hospital specialized in treatment for cancer and diabetes. And this hospital located in LA County. And then now in Calcutta organization, I mainly work in the publication group, and I am also in charge of managing our WeChat official account. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Calcutta organization to provide us this opportunity and a platform to communicate with people from all over the world and working in totally different fields, and so that we can learn from each other and we can refresh our mind with different ideas. And actually, I already got something new, and I think after this meeting, the first thing I'm going to do is to do the personality test. Yeah. As a scientific researcher, actually, my research mainly focuses on the DNA damage repair mechanisms. And the reason why I am interested in this field is because actually our cells receive tens of thousands of DNA damages every day. And these DNA damages may come from the environmental factors like the UV light, the ionizing radiation, also the tobacco smoking, or the air pollution or something else. And actually, if this DNA damage is not repaired precisely, they will generate a gene mutation in our cells. And if these gene mutations happen on, on the oncogene or the tumor suppressor gene, it may eventually lead to cancer. And there's no doubt that cancer is one of the most life-threatening diseases in the world. So, and according to the CDC data, in US, each year about 1.6 million people are diagnosed with cancer, and about 600,000 people die of cancer. So this is a big concern of all of the world. So actually, by studying the mechanisms underlying how DNA damage get repaired, will provide us opportunities to find a drug that will target the tumor cells specifically instead of the human healthy cell. And an example for this is the PARP inhibitor. Actually, it is under clinical trial now, and that is discovered, by the basic DNA damage repair mechanism studying. And since today we're talking about the sustainable development, so at first, I kind of don't know how to link these two things together. But while thinking about it, actually the environment and the human health are very closely related to each other. Protecting the environment by using the clean energy or something else, can benefit the human health. And at the same time, the better human health will help to protect the environment better too. So, and actually, I also think no matter what kind of development strategy it is, human-oriented is always necessary. So, actually, as a researcher, a scientific researcher, people ask me a lot of times, when people ask me about my job, I will tell them I am a cancer researcher. But well, the next question they ask me will be like, did you find the cure for cancer yet? Or how far are we from curing the cancer? And this really, this is not an easy question for everybody, I think. But although I cannot tell, how far are we from curing the cancer, but I believe with the efforts from, the scientific researchers all over the world, we're getting closer and closer. It's just probably the light from only one star will not brighten the sky, but I believe with the accumulated light from tens of thousands of stars will eventually shine through the darkness to the life of the cancer patients. And as a young professional here, and what we can do is just to provide the solid, honest, and reliable data to our own field, and to make it closer and closer to the final goal of achieving the good health and wellness. And actually the good health and wellness is the third goal among the 17 goals of the sustainable development from the United Nations. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ting. And this is a very good speech. And actually, I like City Hope. You are doing some basic research on cancer, and so the name that means that we have hope. We always have hope. Very good. Thank you. And our next speaker is Yifei Liu. Yifei Liu from University of Washington. Yifei, welcome.
Hi everyone. My name is Yifei Liu, and I'm a PhD student from the Agriculture and Applied Economics Department at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And my research interest is energy economics, with focus on renewable energy development and energy efficiency. And I'm very happy to join everybody here today. And I'm very excited to join the youth professional group and work with other wonderful people. And personally, I believe improvements in the policy process through the lens of economics will better allocate resource and fasten their transition toward a cleaner and more sustainable society. So today during this time, I would like to share some research that I found inspiring in my field, centering the energy policy and the US. And then I will also share some of my mind in terms of how this research might apply to the broader China context. Lastly, I think I would like to share some of my research that I'm doing lately. So I think there's some energy policy in the renewable energy development. So each year, the US government spends billions subsidizing renewable investment. In the absence of carbon pricing, subsidies for this industry are likely to play a very important role in the efforts to address the climate change and promote a transition. So there are some type of non-refundable tax credit, which is common for government to subsidize, especially wind and solar industry. And there are also grant and refundable tax credits, which are also applied to the industry as well. So there study have been conducted to understanding what type of subsidizing formatting and what type of policy works the best to how the renewable energy industry. And research has found that non-refundable tax credit subsidy might affect the market structure of the industry by raising costs differentially for new entrants. In that case, new developer might be blocked out, which can actually hinder the expansion of the industry. But wind project developer, they use tax equity quite frequently. And some of the benefit from this tax credits goes to wind developer and goes to tax equity investor to cover the transition costs. So it's likely that only a fraction of the subsidy from the government can actually goes to the developer. And in that case, the valuation of this subsidy might actually be smaller than the amount paid by the government. So there are at least 3 reasons why the research found that non-refundable tax credit rather than grant might lead to welfare loss in the industry. So non-refundable tax credit might cause wind developer to use tax equity financing rather than debt financing. And tax equity investor might have at least a smaller equity stack in the project, which eventually will not help overcoming information asymmetries about the project quality. So this research can kind of give us a lesson of what type of subsidy that government can be used to promote renewable energy expansion, not only in the US contents, but also in the Chinese contents, I think. And I also learned that there are like lots of energy policy to promote energy efficiency in the residential sector. And I think one of the very interesting research I read recently is the one talking about the impact of rebate and loan incentive on air source adoption in like residential household. And the research have provided several implications for policymakers. So first of all, there are like two widely adopted incentives effectively promote the growth of energy efficiency appliance. The rebate program, so the method of a rebate, is more effective in promoting the growth than the low interest loans, because essentially nobody wants to take a loan, right? They just want to get a zero out of pocket upfront cost from the government. So that is one of their main finding. Also, we noticed that like low income groups, they might not be able to afford a really high upfront cost of energy efficiency investment. So basically like a lot of the energy efficiency programs, which are essentially benefiting the higher income portion of the population. So there is a huge gap and huge problem of inequality coming here. And in that sense, if we're thinking back to the Chinese contents, we have so many population in the countries and the income distribution are really wide. So any like energy efficiency policy might have a different impact from to different group of population. So I think that is something that we as a newer generation who works on energy efficiency policy or who thinking to help the society to transit to a more sustainable future, we need to think and consider about how each different energy policy might influence different people from a different population group. And lastly, I want to share briefly about my recent research connecting to renewable energy transition. So I'm working to understand how the interconnection queue might somehow hinder renewable development to connect to the grid. So as some of you might know, in the US for wind and solar developer, after they build their generator, they need to connect to the grid, and then through the grid they can deliver the electricity to different end user. And there's a really long term and really expensive process for them to interconnect to the grid. So lately I'm working on the project to see how we can change the interconnection process and how we can change the policy process of the interconnection from a perspective of economics. And that's all I have for today. And I'm very happy to see people in this chat. I'm looking forward to work with other youth professionals in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for Ethy's about her research. Actually, she covered a lot of topics and policies, and even she mentioned the generator in the connection. Actually, those are the things that actually in my professional life, that's what I have been doing. Do the studies and see whether they are reliable or practical. Whether the grid will has enough strength to accommodate this much of a megawatt injection, right? So very interesting. And also you're talking about the policy, and actually just probably several weeks ago, actually our organization sponsored a webinar called Policy for the Renewable Energy. And we are talking about that. Actually, we had a great speaker, also our advisor from Stanford University, Jim Sweeney. he talked about policy and renewable energy, and also talking about one of the things is energy efficiency. Anyway, I think this platform is very good. Actually, we can all learn from each other. We also can learn from young people. Like today, I have learned a lot. Okay, thank you very much. So our next speaker is Aiqi Zhang from UC Berkeley.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aiqi. You can call me Aiqi. So now I'm an undergraduate student studying psychology and global studies at UC Berkeley. Since my major is not mainly on environmental sciences, and I focus most of my life on my academics on basically psychology and linguistics, that field. So I don't have a lot of knowledge about like new energy since it wasn't covered that much in my studies. But I know like protecting the environment like it's very important. I've been joined volunteer paths in school to help pick up the trashes near the seas. And I've been doing a lot of activities like in different fields, but I can hardly relate this to our daily lives, like how important to protect the environment is, and developing new green world is very important. Talking about new energy, I want to talk about electric vehicles today. So for electric vehicles have been very popular nowadays, but as students, we can hardly afford them since of the pricing. And most of us still choose the gasoline-based car, which fits our budget. After I got my driver license at the age of 16, my parents bought me a gasoline car that has a 2.4 exhaust capacity. Meanwhile, my friend got a hybrid one with a 1.8 exhaust capacity. Although my car has higher horsepower than my friend's, she doesn't need to get gas as often as I do, in which I use at least double the amount of what she uses. Then looking at our differences, I started to see the potential of new energy and how new energy is applied to daily cars as like to our daily lives. I became interested in electric cars and started to pay attention to news and information about new energy cars. Yeah, in the past, alternative fuel vehicles have not yet been that popularized in like China. People still yearn for those traditional high-end brands like BMW, Mercedes, instead of alternative fuel vehicles like even hybrid cars. But within this 10 years period, more and more Chinese electric car brands like NIO, Xiaopeng, Lixiang汽车came out and became popular. And this year, big companies like Baidu and Xiaomi announced their entry into the development of electric vehicles. And other big internet companies like Alibaba, Tengxun are also speeding up their layout, not only directly investing in new energy vehicle enterprises, but also focusing on the technical aspects to promote the integration of new energy vehicles and intelligent connected vehicles development. Many people think that the pollution caused by creating and operating electric vehicles is square under the current energy structure. But in fact, the gradual large-scale popularization of new energy and cars can greatly improve the energy structure, increase the proportion of clean energy consumption, and reduce pollution emissions. For example, in Beijing, smog was really severe, especially in the wintertime when central heating is used, and PM2.5 levels were very high as well. About 20% of the high PM2.5 was caused by automobile exhaust emissions, and more than half of it was by industrial emissions, and about 10% to 20% is caused by other factors, such as dust and private coal burning. But imagine how much PM2.5 could be reduced if 1/3 of the cars were replaced by new energy vehicles. And at that time, I realized that the development of healthy energy, the environment, and more importantly, it brings a lot of convenience to our lives. Now I am eager for a hybrid car, which that would bring a lot of convenience, like create a more cleaner environment that modern times need. So for my insight to the future, hopefully, pure electric vehicles can become the mainstream of new vehicles sold. In the overall public sphere, electric cars, fuel cell vehicles, and other highly automated cars will hopefully achieve large-scale application. The study progress of hydrogen fuel supply systems will lead to an effective energy conservation, which reduce the levels of emission and hence efficient social operation. And thank you. That's my brief presentation for today. And I'm looking forward to working with a bunch of young professionals in this group, which is like, I didn't join many groups like developing new environments group. So I'm thankful for this chance, and hopefully I can learn more things from joining this experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Aichi. And I can see you are a true promoter of clean energy youth. And that's why I see a lot of young people actually these days, more young people are buying Tesla, right? Electric vehicles. So, it's not surprising to see that the results from Pew Research Center, more young people care about our environment, our energy, okay? Our next speaker is Edward Chen from Stanford University. Edward?
All right, thank you, Dr. Zhou. This is Edward Chen. I like Dr. Zhou said, I'm gonna attend Stanford University this fall, studying a master in sustainable design and construction, and I just graduated from undergraduate from Cornell University, and my major was environmental engineering. So that was like somehow related to sustainable design and the theme of sustainable development in general. And I'm currently working as the communications manager at Global Green Development Alliance. And you can see there are some of my professional interests. So I haven't prepared like a thorough speech like many others do, because I don't have like a lot of research experience, I guess. And I'm still like in the process of, exploring what I wanted to do in the future, what my professional interests are. Because, like Dr. Jessica Bien just said, like, I really need the time, as like many young people do, to get my hands dirty and to try many different things. And I guess I'm still in the process of exploring different areas in the general theme of sustainable development. But yeah, so my interest, sustainable design, basically in infrastructure systems, and then renewable energy, of course, because I guess this is one of the very important pillars of sustainable development, because we all depend on energy, like many of you said, and I think spending time to study about renewable energy is going to be big in the future, because we all rely on renewable energy, and I think this is a very important, I guess, like a core of our infrastructure system that is kind of interconnected to every parts of our lives as well. And I'm also very into green buildings. I'm currently a certified a LEED Green Associate. If you've heard about the LEED Green Building Standards, I guess that's one of the areas that I'm interested in, because I think LEED is doing a lot of things, to promote the general ideas of green buildings. Even though I think a lot of the green buildings, like infrastructure systems, it's more of a developed field in like developed countries or developed regions. But I think there's a big market of promoting green buildings in the developing world, especially in third world countries, in the next decade or two, because like the other day I read this article that's saying that like the infrastructure system of like the third world countries is going to expand by like, I don't know, like double or triple in the next 50 years by like 2060 or 2070, and that's going to create a huge market for green buildings, especially under the general theme of sustainable infrastructure. And then ESG, like that is also like a big pillar of sustainable development, I guess, in the current market. If you have heard of this term, it basically means environment and social governance. And that is I guess it's an investing concept that many corporates, many companies, and many organizations is kind of following to. And currently in the world, there's some standardized process into the reporting of ESG data, like ESG reporting standards that I guess many nonprofits or many organizations, international organizations, are promoting. And and I'm also working as I'm working an internship in Shanghai, working on ESG news reporting. I guess it's kind of weird because like I study environmental engineering and I thought I'm going to do in like some engineering work, but then I'm currently working as a journalist in this ESG reporting company, writing articles every day. And I was like, why am I writing articles? I thought I'm going to do like calculation and things like that. But I guess like I'm just, you know, trying to figure out and trying to like, you know, learn new things by getting my hands dirty in different fields. And I think, you know, having to learn about ESG is also getting my interest in green finance, renewable, or let's say responsible investing. I guess these are also the concepts that I would be very happy to learn more and then talk about in the future. Again, for Global Green Development Alliance, I want to thank Dr. Zhang for having me in this organizations, because I remember, I think it's back in this March that I reached out to Dr. Zhang, you know, about being part of the organization, and gladly I became part of the organization, and I'm very happy to contribute to the organization in general. And I don't want to, you know, like do marketing or anything like that, but that's part of my job. So I just want to say this is an awesome organization, and you know, if you're seeing this speech, I would highly recommend anybody interested in, you know, sustainable development to be part of this organization, because you can meet a lot of, you know, awesome people, awesome young people, and you know, I'm just glad to make new friends. So if you're interested, definitely join the organization. So yeah, and I guess for the next part of the presentation or the speeches, I will be the moderator. So I will take it from here. Thank you to Dr. George Zhou for moderating the first half of the presentation. So next, I will move on to the next speaker, Lei Dai from University of Minnesota. Welcome, Lei. Oops.
Okay. Sorry, I'm muted. Thanks, Edward, introduction. This is Lei Dai, a PhD student of the University of Minnesota. I joined our group a few months ago and work in the IT group right now. Thanks everyone in the Global GDA for giving me an opportunity to talk about myself today. First, my research interest for now is mainly solvent plastic waste problem by chemical recycling way. As we know, plastic waste are everywhere and polluting our environment now. In fact, over 5 billion tons of plastic are plastic everywhere in the world, and over 80% of them so far is discarded indiscriminately, both on the land and in the oceans. As reported, each person will eat 5 grams of microplastics every week, posing a serious threat to our health. It's very incredible, but unfortunately, it's a fact. So how to recycle this plastic is a big problem. A lot of researchers are working on this. Nowadays, most of plastic end in landfill and incineration plants. They are not degradable, and the plastic combustion will produce a big amount of carbon dioxide. Right now, thermomechanical recycling means melting and molding of waste plastic is the main way to solve this problem, but it's just able to manufacture low quality plastic products with limited application. It means that this way it's not so attractive economically. Furthermore, this process is not that environmentally friendly, because this process will produce some wastewater and some hazardous materials. So we are trying to design an effective pathway to remove waste plastic from the landfill and incineration plants from our environment. Our goal is to create a circular economy for the plastic use. We can look with the plastic circular economy in mind. our catalytic microwave pyrolysis technology will convert this waste plastic into low carbon synthetic naphtha. This is a feedstock for new plastic production using the current petroleum process. That is, naphtha is cracked into the plastic monomers such as ethylene, propylene, and butane, which is already a mature technology in the petroleum industry. Our technology outcomes will help provide a sustainable way to utilize these plastics and improve the financial outlook of the plastic waste recycling industry, reduce the fossil energy demand and carbon dioxide emission, and thus reduce the environmental impacts of plastic waste recycling industry. At the end, as a researcher, I really hope to make a contribution for solving our plastic crisis on the Earth and hope to create more sustainable society based on my current knowledge. So I hope our alliance can pay more attention to the solid waste management area in order to achieve the carbon neutral goal better and faster in the future. I believe many hands make light work, although the plastic waste pollution is getting worse. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lei Dai. I think it is a great introduction. I personally work, I have some past experience working with like past, waste management or waste management systems in general. I remember I was leading a project when I was undergrad at Cornell that there's some guy in the industry that wanted to standardize the whole waste management process, and I think it's a great idea to promote recycling and biomass conversion in general, because a lot of the waste right now is just being either landfilled or just incinerated, and that's definitely creating a lot of problems. So that's definitely great. So I will move on to the next speaker, Wancheng Liu from Peking Union Medical College. Welcome, Wancheng.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Professor Zhang. Thank you, everyone. I'm Wancheng Liu. Now I'm a doctor in Peking Union Medical College. My major is immunology. My research area is anti-tumor immunity. I'm very happy to hear you share. We all focus on health and green energy. All the people in here study energy, while I study cancer and viruses. This organism provides a platform we can exchange different fields and expand our knowledge. Because it's different from your major based on what I've learned, I'm going to share a topic, cancer and food. How what you eat can influence cancer. I hope it's good for everyone. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in the world. But studies suggest that simple lifestyle change, such as following a healthy diet, could prevent about 20% of all cancers. Growing evidence points to certain dietary habits increasing or decreasing cancer risk. What's more, nutrition is thought to play an important role in treating and coping with cancer. First, eating too much of certain foods may increase cancer risk. It's difficult to prove that certain food cause cancer. However, observation studies have repeatedly indicated that high consumption of certain foods may increase the likelihood of developing cancer, especially sugar and refined carbs. Processed food that are high in sugar and low in fiber and nutrition have been linked to a higher cancer risk. Particularly, research have found that a diet that causes blood glucose. For second, being overweight or obese is linked to increase the cancer risk. Other line, smoking and infection. Being obese is the single biggest risk factor for cancer in the world. It increases your risk of 14 different types of cancer. In the United States, it's estimated that this problem accounts for 14% and 20% of all cancer deaths in men and women, respectively. Certain food contain cancer-fighting properties. write that can have beneficial effects for people with cancer. All right, in the future, I hope to discuss with everyone the cross field of health and energy, talk about how can the use clean energy decrease cancer risk, and develop new concepts and new ways of medical sustainability and energy sustainability. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Wan Cheng, for the introduction. I remember, I especially agree with Wan Cheng's idea of, like nutrition and diet is generally tied to, cancer and these chronic diseases, because I remember I read the book about, I think the book's name is called like the China Study. And then it's about like how diet and then nutrition is tied to many chronic diseases like diabetes and cancer and all these diseases that you mentioned, Wan Cheng. So I really can like echo with that. So thanks for your introduction. And let's go to the next speaker, Cai Weijun from South China University of Technology. Take it away, Weijun.
Thank you, Edward. Dear professors and scholars, my name is Cai Weijun. I work as an assistant technology manager at Go GDA, and I'm studying in South China University of Technology. My research division is the power Internet of Things. The power Internet of Things is not far away from us. On the user side, the smart meter can let us know the overall power consumption of the family, and the smart socket can let us control the switch of electrical equipment. On the production side of the power system, operation and maintenance personnel can make more optimized power system operation strategies by the sensing data. In March this year, one of the fields of the conference presided over by Chairman Xi is to build a new power system with new energy as the main body. The realization of this goal is inseparable from the support of various communication technologies of the power Internet of Things. The difficulty of new energy power generations lies in the influence of periodicity and uncertainty of power generation on the power system. Operation and maintenance personnel can know the output of each new energy generator in real time through many sensing devices and formulate corresponding strategies to coordinate the supply and demand balance of the power system, which is helpful to further promote the access of new energy and promote the green transformation of the power system. As a young generation, although we are mainly engaged in reading and scientific research, we are divorced from actual production, but it doesn't affect us to expect our own ideas, turn them into reality, and make them play a role in practice. I personally think the power Internet of Things is a good direction. At the same time, we can also start from a small, pay attention to energy consumptions, and start from ourselves to help realize a green and low carbon society. Thank you.
Thanks for a great introduction, Weijun. I personally, I found the idea of power Internet of Things pretty intriguing, so we can talk about it later. But I really love the idea of having like the small scale Internet of Things. I think I definitely agree that that's the future direction to go. So yeah, great introduction. So our next speaker is Wang Xindong from Tsinghua University and Zhejiang Tsinghua Institute of Flexible Electronics Technology. Welcome, Xindong.
Thank you, Edward. Hi, everybody. I'm Xindong. Now I'm a postdoc in Tsinghua University and also a researcher in the Zhejiang Tsinghua Institute of Flexible Electronics Technology. And I'm also an assisted editor in the JLO JDA. My research interests are about biochemical analysis, optical materials, and implantable medical devices. Next, I will talk about a project I made in last year. The project is about in vitro detection of cardiovascular disease. I will call the cardiovascular disease as CVD for short in the next. The CVD disease has become the leading cause of death worldwide. The international authoritative CVD journal, JACC, has made statistics. In the year 2015, an estimated 424 million people worldwide suffered from CVD disease, of which 18 million died of CVD. So this disease has become the second killer after malignant tumors and is one of the main causes of death. In June 2017, the annual China CVD disease report was released, and the summary of the report was published in the Chinese Journal of Circulation. The data shows that CVD-caused deaths account for the first cause of death among urban and rural residents. The estimated number of CVD disease patients is 290 million. The number of CVD patients will continue to grow rapidly in the next 10 years. The CVD disease has caused tremendous economic and social pressure on countries all over the world. Since the year 2004, in some countries, the total hospitalization expenses for CVD disease have also been increasing rapidly. And in some countries, the average annual growth rate is even higher than that of GDP. With such a high incidence of CVD disease, early detection and early treatment are particularly important. In order to detect CVD disease as soon as possible, myocardial biomarkers are a key factor. The myocardial biomarker we focused is called myoglobin. So our goal becomes simple, just to detect the dosage of myoglobin. And what we did is to combine the nanotechnology and biotechnology to achieve the early detection of CVD disease. To be specific, we made the nano bioprobe, the size of which is about 30 nanometer, and it can be lighted by the invisible laser. We also developed the optical detection method, which can be used to quantify the dosage of myoglobin. We also set up an instrument which is used to detect the changes of optical signals. And finally, with the help of nano bioprobes, optical detection method, and the constructed instrument, we successfully realized the early detection of CVD. A considerable proportion of CVD disease is caused by a healthy lifestyle. So while the early detection of CVD, we also want to remind people of the importance of a healthy lifestyle. At present, the healthy lifestyle, green travel, and sustainable development all benefit to the public health. So in order to make more contribution to the public health, I joined the Young Professionals Ministry of JLO-JDA. I hope the JLO-JDA will develop better and better. Thank you.
Thank you, Xindong, for the introduction. I especially love your perspective of bringing in the cardiovascular diseases impact on the economic environment, because I never actually put that into that perspective, because a lot of people talk about cancer, but then I think cardiovascular disease is also one of the very important areas in the general public health realm that we should pay more attention to. And I'm glad that you could bring that perspective into the organization. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So our last speaker is Li Junlong from Bath University. Welcome, Junlong.
Okay, thank you, Edward. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. I'm Junlong Li, a second-year PhD student of electrical engineering in the University of Bath. It's my pleasure to introduce myself and some of my works here. I graduated from Sichuan University for my undergraduate degree. Then I started my PhD programs in the University of Bath. For now, my research mainly focuses on the edge cloud computing technologies to enable efficient operations and decarbonization strategies in the power systems. It's more like how to utilize the emerging communication and computing technologies to help power systems realize more smart operations and reduce their carbon emissions. Maybe the edge cloud computing is a little unfamiliar to you, so I will firstly take a moment to briefly introduce what is edge cloud computing and how will it help us to reduce the carbon emissions in the power systems. The cloud computing is quite familiar to us. The iCloud in our iPhones, the Baidu Yun, AliYun, and other long-distance storage apps are all the applications of the storage functions from cloud computing. And cloud computing can do far more than storage. The highly aggregated computers at the cloud nodes can perform massive computing tasks and provide fast and powerful computing services for their remote users. But with the explosive of the smart devices like our smartphones, the iPads, and various sensors, the cloud computing node is difficult to provide fast and high quality computing services. That's why we need to develop some computing resources on the edge side to extend the cloud computing to the user side. Based on the edge computing, the computing tasks can be processed within milliseconds and with high privacy. In power systems, the edge computing can help us to remote communicate with the massive end users and devices, such as the smart meters, electric vehicles, and massive sensors in the substations or power plants. In this way, we can efficiently obtain more edge data to optimize the operation and energy management of the power systems. And decarbonization is one of the main goals of the optimization. For example, with the edge computing node, the smart homes and smart buildings can control themselves to maximize the utilization rate of the renewable energies, and the distribution network operators can design more accurate power dispatching schemes with the edge data from power users to accelerate the penetration of the clean energies. Therefore, with much powerful communication and computing technologies, the efficiency of decarbonization in power systems can be highly improved. But how to apply these emerging technologies into power systems requires further investigations. And this is also the main target and the meaning of my researches. Structure of the smart homes, and currently I'm trying to realize it with the hardwares and Zigbee communication modules. Besides, I'm also trying to develop a load forecasting method based on the edge cloud collaboration. This method can improve the load forecasting with the real-time data from smart meters, especially during the special scenarios like the COVID-19 periods. With the more accurate prediction of the power consumption, the operation schemes of energy storage resources and distributed renewable energies can be timely rescheduled, which could further improve the penetration of the clean energies. As a PhD student of electrical engineering, I think the decarbonization-related investigations is the most important way for me to make a contribution to the global environment protection. And I will keep up the emerging technologies to look for more solutions for the decarbonization in power system in the future. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for listening. Edward.
All right, thank you, Jinlong. I think this is a very timely topic to talk about, cloud computing, because yesterday I read a piece of news that Microsoft is launching a product called, I think it's called Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. And they're using cloud computing to measure data in like energy and then carbon emissions and things like that. So I think it's a very timely topic, and we can have a very interesting conversation, in the overall, organization. So I'm very looking forward to that. So I guess that's the end of all of our members' speeches. And I just want to take a quick time to do a little marketing. So here's the QR code to join Global Green Development Alliance. So if you're interested, we're very, very welcome that anybody who is interested will be able to be part of the organization. So take the time and scan the code, and we will have you in the WeChat group. So we will send out more information later. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And that's close to the end of today's event. I'll hand the mic back to Dr. Xiaofeng Zhang to do the closing remarks.
Edward, thank you
excellent work regarding the moderator of the panel and also prepare the wonderful presentation PPT. This is the best, I see, for the 10 young professionals, each one has one slide. However, you are very clear, very organized delivering your message. So this is the really, the good achievement. So right now, we use the last few minutes. So let our invited guest speakers, Dr. Jianhua Bian and Jian Wu and George Zhou. So each one, you give the one sentence. So to our young professional, today is a special day. It's celebration of the young professional group establishment. So you give the one sentence to our young professional. Actually, also appreciate Jianhua Bian. Right now she is in the East Coast already over 12 p.m. Yeah, Jianhua. Yeah, you open your microphone. Your microphone is closed. Jessica.
I'm muted here.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Right. So thank you. Yeah. Great meeting everyone. I'm a night owl, so I am okay. The one sentence I would like to say being having empathy, and if we all moving together with empathy and seeing from others' shoes and perspectives, and success will take care of on its own. Thank you.
Yeah, Jian Wu, your microphone on. Yeah.
Today is a great day, a really great day, because we have a brand new team to come with us. So get ready, get up, let's go together.
Good. George.
Yeah, I'm happy to participate in this great event ceremony. I wish everybody good success and follow your passion in your career, also in this platform. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think today, our webinar will be ended for the last 2 minutes. So I would also give one sentence to our young professional. You are the future of the world and a wonderful achievement in your earlier career, in your earlier life. However, you have a long way, to achieve your goal. So we are really happy you organize together and share your common goals and also make the friendship. So we, some case the network, like Jessica and me, how many years? About 30 or 40 years. We know each other. Like Jian Wu said, we're from 80s, so you are the 2020 now, right? So this is, maybe today you look this young 10 professional, maybe after 10 years, maybe still together, or maybe, make more friends. So this is our hope, to our young professional. So our webinar will be ended today. I will give announcement. One is the Global Green Development Alliance will have an annual conference. This will be the September 6 to 8. So in Sichuan, Chengdu, from the US, from Europe, and other countries will be the online. The people in China, they will be in the Chengdu beautiful city. So I hope our team, our volunteers will participate. We will share some work. And in this process, maybe we can try how can we better organize so we can achieve the common goal and use this opportunity for our young professional. We just published the first press release. So regarding, more than 10 very famous, the experts, professionals, academics, we can learn from them when you're doing volunteers, maybe you have opportunity to learn the master of in each field. So second is this is a healthy world green development series webinar. So next week will be the US-China Health Summit doing their webinars. So we will continue every week. So this webinar continued from last year, so has the US-China Health Summit, Global Green Development Alliance, and the Zhejiang Commercial Unit, and so on. So, and also appreciate the Green Development Foundation, they support us also doing the Baidu, the video broadcast. Okay, so thank you everyone. So we will see each other in the next event. So we take the last picture. Everybody is here. Your screen, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So Jessica, thank you. It's too late in you.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, it's really late in the East Coast.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah. So actually, our time management still is pretty good. We have this much content, concentrate in these 2 hours, right? So our young professional, really good organizers. Thank you, Guan Li and Edward and everyone. So we will, talk in other webinars in the future. Okay, thank you. Okay, good night in the US.
Bye.
Good day in China.